This is Overtime with Chris Dewar, only on KHQA.
This is Saturday, January 28th, and you have entered Overtime, my friends. A 30-minute highlight odyssey because, as always, good people, I have much to share and even more to give. What a fun and unique Saturday this would turn out to be. We've got champions to crown basketball-wise at both Bowling Green and Carrollton tonight. We've got the Quincy University Hawks trying to prove they can win on the road, and the second-ranked Trailblazers of John Wood trying to bounce back from a stunning road loss earlier this week. And it's Singlet City, baby, right here in the Gem City and America's hometown with high school wrestling mania afoot. Heck, if there's time and someone calls in a result, I can even tell you about the Iowa State Robotics Qualifying Tournament. I believe it was up in Ottumwa today, because that's what we do here on Overtime. But we begin tonight with the Quincy Blue Devils trying to build on the impressive momentum of a rare win at East Moline last night. We take you to Champaign, where the Blue Devils were taking on a really good Central team. That young man, not part of the cause. Even if he was, he could not guard Mike Davis. The Blue Devils fighting an uphill battle early in this game, but Davis strong in the post. The Blue Devils attacking in the post. D'Angelo Dean right here with a little soft hook shot for 2 of his game-high 25 points. Again, more Mike Davis, but again, the Blue Devils struggling early to kind of bridge the gap. They would trail for 3 quarters in this game, despite the heroics right here of Jason Sauron, who's going to come up strong and get the 3-point play. But in the 4th quarter, a mad rush from Quincy High School, and they do in fact deliver a high-caliber win on the road tonight. Quincy High victorious in this one by the final count of 54-51. Elsewhere on the scoreboard tonight, we take you first to the Beardstown tournament, where Concord Triopia takes 3rd place tonight behind 20 points from John Love. And in the 5th place game, it was Bubba Patterson and Beardstown taking the victory over Havana. 39-36 would be your final there. Other scores of note tonight, non-tournament action. It was Sacred Heart Griffin going into the bowl and taking a 10-point win at the Crimson's expense. Also, Porta rolls into Camp Point and loses by 20 tonight. Austin Dormeyer leading the way for the Panthers in that game with 12, actually check that, 13 points. Rout a big winner on the road at Calhoun. Nick Lonergan with 16 points in that ball game. Pleasant Hill with a nice win tonight over Brussels. Matt Gunterman, as always, the leading scorer with 19 points in that one. Meanwhile, in Missouri tonight, Ellsbury, for the 3rd year in a row, is your Bowling Green tournament titleist. They are now 16-1 on the season, are the Ellsbury Fighting Indians. And in the 3rd place game, it was Clopton knocking off Louisiana. 45-39 was your final. I promised you highlights from Maryville today. Quincy University going on the road, and it would be hard for Marty Bell's team to start any better than it did today. This obviously Coaches versus Cancer Day, and Marty Bell representing in the tennis shoes. Right off the bat right here, it's Chris Babbitt from the baseline knocking down the 2. Babbitt with a 12-point game today. Then Courtney Belger creating on the interior, had 4 dimes on the day. He'd find Justin Brock, who had 12 points and 7 rebounds. QU would hold Maryville scoreless for the first 6:40 of this game. A 17-2 to run to start this game, and it starts there with Jordan Wilson with the floater. More to come in this game. A little defense right here. It's Wilson to steal. He'll miss the layup, but Marshawn Norris is there to clean it up and tidy up nicely for the Hawks, who just kept hitting the accelerator at the expense of an overmatched Maryville team in this one. Babbitt again showing off the mid-range game, knocking down the feathery jumper there. More Courtney Belger, as I said, 15 points for him, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, all Hawks in this game as they led 30-10 at the half. They held Maryville to 10 points in a half. Again, Division II college basketball, and went on to win finally this game. Final count was a 61-42 decision in favor of the Hawks. Elsewhere today, John Wood trying to bounce back from that ugly loss earlier this week, taking on Danville. Early on, it is Reagan Bringer, the pride of Southeastern High School. Great take for him. However, it would be Danville scoring the next 10 points to build a 10-2 lead in this ball game. So the Trailblazers were in comeback mode the rest of the first half. James Lee would get the offensive putback right here off the miss. Actually, that's Antonio Landers with a nice cleanup first. Here comes James Lee. A little defense as the Hawks get the stop at the other end, and it would be James Lee cleaning up in transition nicely right here. Good bucket for him as he gets the smooth bucket to fall as he banks one home. More to come from the Blazers, this time courtesy of your reigning KHQA Player of the Year. That is Mr. Brad Hamilton out of Pittsfield with a nice 3-pointer to go. Blazers still just kind of chipping away at this point. Darius Porter making his presence felt in the low blocks right here. Takes some serious contact, draws the bucket, the Band-Aid, and the 3-point play. More, this time Antonio Landers doing likewise. 3-point play for that young man as well. Then off the James Lee miss, it's Reagan Bringer. Yet again, he will tidy up nicely on the inside. For a guard, he does a lot of nice things. 16 points for Reagan Bringer. Unfortunately, for the 2nd straight game in a row, John Wood loses, this time at home, and that's going to hurt that national ranking even more this week. Blazers already destined to drop. They're going to drop some more. They lose 66-56 on the home front today. We also had a thriller tonight up at Western Hall as Remy Roberts-Burnett hits a three-pointer with 0.5 seconds left on the clock to give the Western Illinois Leathernecks a win over IUPUI. We were promised video of this from Western Illinois. We did not get that email, so apologies for that. If we get it, Ross will put it on Sensational 7 for you coming up on Monday, but it never arrived in our inbox tonight. Also tonight, Illinois College snaps a 9-game losing streak. They knock off Knox College and former BPCA star Mitch Murphy by the final count of 70-56. Also, it was Avila destroying Culver Stockton 83-49. Your final there. Women's action today. Jenny Garber in a bit of a dilemma. She had just 8 players in uniform for this one. That's really, really tough. But you know what? No signs of wear on the Lady Hawks. Felicia Loggins picking up where she left off. She has gotten red hot the last couple of games. Allie Schwagmeyer doing some nice work right here, as she often does, with the defense in her face. Still manages to get the 2 to go down. Second half, look at the ball movement right here as Lindsay Henke. Oh, she's doing just wonderful post work, and you know the fans, they're enjoying it at that point because there was a good contingent of QU fans traveling down to St. Louis. Carly Gengenbacher hits Loggins, Miss Felicia Loggins for the nice 2, and then it's Miss Henke again. She'll miss the turnaround, but there is Allie Schwagmeyer tidying up as she does. Quincy University gets the win despite having just 8 players. Apparently 8 was indeed enough. Quincy University wins 66-42, your final there. Allie Schwags with 19 points and 7 rebounds. The aforementioned Lindsay Henke had 13 on the day. Heartbreaker for the Leathernecks, J.D. Gravina's squad, as they lose in overtime to IUPUI at Western Hall, 68-64. Illinois College drops triple digits on Knox College today, 103-91. It was Avila knocking off Culver, Stockton, and Canton. Canton's own Jesse Logston with 18 points in that ball game, and Danville loses at the buzzer to John Wood. Brittany Yost with a couple of free throws to seal the deal on that one as John Wood gets a high-quality victory at home today. And that's just the start of our festivities here on the big overtime show. Coming up next, the Quincy Notre Dame Lady Raiders lay claim to their 5th straight Carrollton Tournament title and really get no pushback in the process. And we've got high school wrestling covered like no one else in the market. All your Matt Front from Quincy High, QD, and Hannibal is straight ahead. And welcome back to Overtime, everybody. To be candid, I've kind of had this date circled on our basketball calendar since the beginning of the season. In theory, the Carrollton tournament title game was supposed to present us with a battle of powerhouse teams, Pana versus Q&D, Ken Schuster versus Eric Orn once again. Unfortunately, injury issues have knocked much of the luster off Pana, and on Thursday, surprising Calhoun knocked the Lady Panthers out of that dream scenario. So instead it would be Calhoun taking on Quincy Notre Dame. Opposition didn't matter. Even All-Stater Josie Clockey could not stop the Lady Raider rush, which starts right off the bat with Cassidy Gengenbacher scoring off the opening tip. Cass had 15 on the night. Oh, you know what? The Lady Raiders were far from done in this ballgame. Kristen Gengenbacher looking inside to the All-Stater Jordan Frerick. She cleans up. Calhoun had no answer for her. They had no answer for Cassidy from the outside, who she knocks down the long three. It was all Quincy Notre Dame in this game as they win their 5th straight title down at Carrollton. Maybe they could stop at the brass door to celebrate afterwards. Great fried chicken for those of you interested. Big win for Q&D, by the way. Fried chicken is good. 72-24, your final over Calhoun. The Lady Raiders continue to seek and destroy. Meanwhile, in the third place game, Joe Eilering's route squad taking on Ken Schuster's Pana squad. Right here, it's Joanna Gross missing, but she'll collect her own rebound, pick it up, and put the bucket in, and draw the and one at that point. Miss Gross has had herself a breakout season. She's well assisted here, though. Darcy Arndt gets the 2 to fall. She goes high off the window for the bank shot. Routes working the inbounds pass, I should say, right here. Alyssa Gard finds Miss Joanna Gross again, who makes quick work of it with 2 more, but Pana just way too strong in this ball game. They win 60-48. Route has to settle for 4th place on the day. Other girls' scores on the day: Liberty Payson with a nice win over West Prairie, winning 60-37. Kristen Luce kind of broke out of her shooting slump today. She went 7 for 10 from the field, had 14 points on the day. Griggsville Perry, no match for Central Southeastern. Olivia Nelson drops 26 in that ball game. We had differing scores called in on this next one. We're going to say it was either West Hancock winning 69-61 over Western or losing 61-59. I'm not sure which. We apologize. Couldn't make out the score from the phone message tonight. Miss Motley, Miss Platt with 16 points apiece for Western in that ball game. Win or loss, not certain. Again, apologies on that one. We can tell you that Sherrard got a huge win over Illini West today. Final count in that one was 74-40. Well, with 17 teams in the mix, including powerhouse squads from Kirksville, Pleasant Valley, Iowa, and East St. Louis, the Quincy Notre Dame Wrestling Invitational is one fine exhibition of grappling. But forget all those imports. The homegrown grapplers acquitted themselves quite nicely today. We start our highlights in semifinal action at 120 pounds between state-ranked Antonio Quintana of Beardstown and Quincy Notre Dame's Darren Stevens. And this was a pretty darn good match. It would be Quintana right here with the escape and the reversal for the decision. Quintana finished 2nd in his weight class to Tyler Williams of the aforementioned Pleasant Valley, Iowa squad. Meanwhile, at 132, Quincy Notre Dame's Gage Stevens was the most successful bannerman for his school and for the hosts, wrangling control right here over Marlon Humphreys of East St. Louis. Then the reversal for Gage from the down position, gets the single leg takedown and grabs position at that point. And then watch Gage go to work right here, flipping Humphreys over to his back to win by fall. Again, though, Stevens 2nd place behind Kirksville's very talented Austin Roper. But a wonderful pin right here for Gage Stevens. He's kind of getting going as the postseason looms. At 145 pounds, story of the day from Camp Point Central, as he usually is, Jonah Cogshall in a war with Kirksville's Jesse Griffell, who you see right there. Good move by Cogshall to block the takedown, and then moments later to start the second period, Cogshall just jumps on him and gets the pinfall victory. He would go on to win his weight class today at 145 pounds, exploding to that victory. At 170 pounds, tell you what, nobody has been any better of late than Clayton Seward, who just absolutely goes to work right here over Seth Scahill right here. It is Clayton Seward on top, working for the back points right at the edge of the mat. You will see him get that. Later, after this match, it would be Seward who would decision Pittsfield's very talented Zach Abney to win the title at 170 pounds. So congratulations to Clayton Seward, running a heck of a gauntlet to win his title today. 195 pounds, the most fun match of the day between Garrett Kessner, the human muscle, and East St. Louis's Javan Griffin, who shows off right there and then kind of punks Garrett. The human muscle is not amused. He's going to take the bigger man down, and then just for good measure, Garrett kind of lost his temper just a little bit. That's a big dude. You don't want to make Garrett mad. He's going to flip his man absolutely over, tilt him, and pin him in a matter of seconds. I am not amused by your size or your skills. Look at Garrett Kessler, just throw this kid over, get the pin, and yeah, Garrett's going to let him hear about it a little bit as well, and maybe as well as he should. Garrett finished second at 195 today. We got a champ at 220 for you locally. Jacksonville's Jordan Watkins, who's just a very talented technician, rolling his man Logan Thiel from Pittsfield over for the pin, and he would eventually win the title on the night. And then we go to the big fellas. You saw our story on Colton Pease earlier this week, taking on Beardstown's Matt Rogie. Great reversal. But you know what? Matt Rogie's got some skills. The Beardstown young man, you know, he's in the single wing right there, but he's going to shake loose of Colton Pease, somehow get position and get the reversal to close at this point to within 7-2. Colton Pease didn't like that a whole heck of a lot. He would rally up big and end up getting the escape right here and the reversal, end up ultimately winning this match. I believe the final on this one was 10-2, and then he'd end up taking the title by pinfall victory. So congratulations to Colton Pease. One other local champ not pictured today. I got the call late that the semifinals had started. Our guy Jack Lucy out of West Hancock, who's been just lights out this season, won at 113 as well. Your team standings today, Quincy Notre Dame, very good showing. 4th place in that loaded tournament. Beardstown, obviously a loaded squad, finishes with 122 points in the day. Pittsfield, not too shabby either. And as I said, 17 teams. West Hancock finishes in the top 10 as well. Let's take you across town to the Western Big 6 matchup today. This is Quincy High taking on Moline. Phil Neely's squad down 18-3 early, but Hunter Emmerich is about to rally the troops, reversing his team's fortunes at 126 pounds with a takedown there, then seeking the pin. Hunter looks to be closing in on that as he cinches in the hold right here. Just seconds left in the second period. I thought he had the pin here, saved by the bell. 3 back points, though, for him there. Then Hunter will do what he was predestined to do in this match, pin his man and get the victory. And all of a sudden, the Blue Devils kind of went on a mad rush from that point forward against a very, very talented Moline squad. We take you 1 weight class up. It's time for Connor Emmerich to go to work. He had fewer opportunities to score, but one big one. You are looking at it, middle of the match, looking for 3 back points in a 4-0 decision. These 3 back points would loom huge as Connor Emmerich, I should say, gets the huge win today and gets a big, big victory. Also, we had a thrilling comeback in this one as well for the Blue Devils, stepping up in weight class. We're going to move you up to 138 right after Connor gets his points, and you will see the referee point to the back and give him his points accordingly in that 4-0 decision. Good stuff for Connor Emmerich. Moving up now to 138 pounds, down 4-3 with 25 seconds left. It's Matt Bilgrey coming up right here with a nice move, and that turns out to be the match-winning move. He holds on and rides out his man for the win, and again, that's 3 wins in a row for the Blue Devils at that point at 152. Another big win for the Quincy Blue Devils. You gotta love a guy named River Bew coming up strong here with a 13-4 decision. And all of a sudden, the Blue Devils were within striking distance of the 24 team points that Moline had on the board. Who are you going to send in? How about Dakota Downs is going to do what he does best, escape first and go to work on a tech fall victory that would tie this team matchup at 24 apiece. And it was just lights out, textbook Dakota Downs from that point forward, cinching in point after point, getting his back points there on a beautiful tilt. He ends up winning the match by tech fall 11-0. Unfortunately, right after this position, the Blue Devils could not get another team win going out. They lose to Moline, but the Blue Devils do get the split on the day and the split on the tournament. They beat East Moline today, go 2-2 on the weekend, so none too shabby a showing for Phil Neely's squad. Now, in 2 weeks, the Hannibal Pirates will earn the honor and the advantage of getting to host the district wrestling meet, the one and only avenue now into the state tournament in Columbia. Derek Greening's crew had one last home tune-up today. That event hosting Marshall this morning. The Owls coming in, made a long road trip for very little in the way of reward. We'll start you out with a battle of state-ranked guys at 132. That's the Pirates' Colby Collings in black and Brandon Stanley in red of Marshall. Colby was workmanlike in this effort for the takedown and the 2 points right there and the win. So he gets the big win on the day. Then at 170, Brady Ruby works diligently right here. He's going to have to fight his way in the black for the single leg takedown of Austin Sickles, and Sickles goes down and goes down hard. And then more to come right here for Mr. Ruby as he bends Sickles into funny shapes for the pinfall victory. A lot of pinfalls starting at the upper weight classes for Hannibal, who's loaded from about 170 on. You're going to see why in just a second as we have more for you. At 195, this is what you call using a man's arm to your own advantage. Hannibal's Logan Clark using Tyler Edson's right arm against him. He's going to do his homework right here, working toward the pin, eventually going to reach out and grab that right wing and throw it hard to the mat and get himself the pinfall victory. So the pin started coming fast and furious at this point. You know who else we really like from Hannibal? Young freshman at 220 pounds by the name of Kyle Muring. who has stepped up, and the 2 times we've seen him, just been a powerhouse. Go, 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 constantly running motor. Got to love what he does right here. Starts in the down position to start period 2. Barry Bendick is going to try to break his base. It's just not going to happen. The kid's too squat, got too low a center of gravity, and too strong with those legs. Muring's going to try to turn the tables right here and do so exactly like that. Just that quickly, you go from the down position to the up position to the your pinned position. Nice win there for Kyle Muring. And finally, the big fella you all heard so much about, 285-pounder Jake Borgmeyer. The show was on from that point on, taking Raven White apart and down, and boy, that's an easy escape for Jake, who's just a powerhouse. Borgie going to work yet again right here. Some more back points coming down as he would first of all get the takedown right there, then the back points. Quoth, Raven White, nevermore in this one as he got destroyed in this game, losing by pinfall. And the Hannibal Pirates win nicely today over Marshall, 51-30 is your final there. When we come back, we will introduce you to a young lady who by this time on Tuesday might have been declared the best freshman volleyball player in the entire country. Stay tuned for that. And welcome back to Overtime. Come Tuesday, Holy Trinity's Michaela Fecke may well be recognized by the website prepvolleyball.com as the top freshman player in the entire nation. The Lady Crusader middle hitter found out on Thursday that she's one of 18 finalists for that prestigious honor, and she found out quite by accident.
We learned about it because we have like a membership to them, and we got on it, and then it had the finalists, and we just happened to look, and I was one of them, and it was just really exciting.
It'd be great, but this is a great honor for her, and top 18 in the nation. You can't ask for much more, and I think the things are going to open up for her, and it's just going to be a really good ride for a while.
My parents and my coaches, I mean, they're such great, and they always help you through everything, and just everybody helps you. It doesn't matter how big or small.
Great things can happen. I know her work ethic, and she's practicing up in Iowa City 3 times a week with the Rockets, and she's in the gym any chance she can get. The sky's the limit for her, and I know she's going to go far, and she's a smart kid and very athletic and very strong, and just a good all-around kid.
And congratulations to Michaela. Win or lose, she's a winner in our books. Meanwhile, in volleyball today, Quincy University wins 2 more. I believe that's 9 in a row for the Volleyhawks, who take a pair from Fontbonne today. Also, bad news for our guy Dustin Jacoby, the former Concord Triopia Quincy University football star. His second UFC fight, a loss tonight as he submits in the 3rd round to Chris